Why wouldn't Superman dye his hair?
It's a good question.
Don't know.
The Man of Steel likes to keep it real. Sunday night is the home of the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Thank you so much for being here. We hope you survived another week. Welcome to a brand new month. It's great to have you here. Saying hello first to the bottom row panelist, Signature King, the Royal of Foils. How are you?
I'm good, except I got this cough. I just can't shake. So everybody stay back. Don't get too close to me.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And then our fanboy that we always have at least once a month, usually in the beginning, first show of the new month, is back with us. Silver hair, Bronze Age babe. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's birthday week here at the House of Shabab.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, the Wi-Fi hotspot has a birthday, and then on Thursday it's my birthday. So all we do.
Your Wi-Fi hotspot has a birthday?
My little beloved Mrs. Shebab has.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I love my router too. I am not celebrating every single year.
God, poor Shebab, she's so lonely.
Honestly, that's where my mind went. My Wi-Fi hotspot. Like, great. I'm as long as you're happy.
Right.
To me, that sounds like double cake, and wherever there's cake, let alone double cake, see you later this week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do have your address. I mean, knock, knock, knock. I'm here for cake.
Okay, please come on over. Honest to God, all we do is eat and drink and go out and have cake. I mean, this is a great week, but also it's kind of a nauseating week.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's we're a happy gang here. So
Okay.
even though the numbers, Mrs. Shebab's not thrilled because it's a big one for her.
Oh, it's one of the ones that ends in a zero?
It has a
30
zero.
is really hard.
Oh,
It is. And I'm having a Beatles birthday when I'm 64. So
okay.
There we go. So, but it's all great. I'd rather have one than not. So.
Absolutely.
That's
a
true.
good way to look at it. So tonight, Hollywood is not the only place that has celebrities galore, because we have a special guest tonight that I was trying to think all weekend. I've been thinking of the right way to introduce our special guest tonight. And this is what I came up with. If you guys want to add anything to it, feel free. But really what I wanted to say is, if you could have a comic book friend, this is the friend you would want to have. I mean, that's to me the best way to introduce Metarog.
Hey,
guys!
Yes.
Come on, Ryan.
He's one of the
I'm gonna
coolest
cry here. Okay.
Oh, good. Let's make him cry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
first appearance of Metarog's tears on our channel.
Not first, believe me. It's happened before. I'm an emotional guy at heart, so thank you so much for having me on, Ryan, and Shebab and Tony, of course. You guys are, on the upper echelon of my YouTube friend and collectors here. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm truly, if I am the best friend for this community, I don't think there's a better compliment that you could give me. So I'm honored, really.
Well, yeah, I meant it.
I think that's true, and I think you make a really good ambassador to the hobby as well.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think you were I was on a live stream. One of the first live streams I did was with you and another gang. And I have to tell you, I was a little nervous about it because I'd only been on one live stream before. And so I was like, oh, God. But to have you on that, it just smooth sailing. It really was. You're so welcoming and so kind and so knowledgeable, and you and I have a shared sweet spot when it comes to collecting. So it's just great to have you as a friend and community member, and the work you do for the community, it's top notch. So
yeah,
I think I'm
really
still here. I think I'm still here on this platform in part because of the help that you.
I think you give me a little too much credit there, Sarah. But
no,
but really from the heart, I really appreciate it. I really do.
Well, we are so pleased that you're here. We are pleased that we have some fantastic folks in the live chat. If you're watching on the rewind, we're happy that you're here as well, and we've got a great show tonight for you. Also, I do want to mention that giveaway tonight, maybe more than once, Tony, maybe twice.
We'll do two.
Two giveaways coming up tonight. So
we have an original Walmart pack that included the mask. I have some. So someone's going to win this bad boy. And then we have two of the remix ones that Walmart had that did not include a mask. So just all you got to do is talk in the chat. Really, you guys are doing great. I'm putting their names on the wheel here. We'll spin it at some point.
Cool.
And I'll pay for shipping. If you live international, I don't care. I'll eat the shipping. Wow. I just want someone to win. So don't worry about it.
Well, let's say hi to some of the folks that already have their name on the board just for showing up tonight. Mr. Gretzky 9966 is here. He did an awesome stream last night talking about movies with John's Comics with Kids.
Hey, Matt, we met at Heroes Con. We hung out for a while. Great guy. Love him.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a very good friend here, Werewolf by Lunchtime, one of our favorite names in the community.
Oh,
Hey, Darren. How you doing, buddy? He just bought a house.
Oh, wow. Got so many comic books, it was time to upgrade the house, huh?
Right, I guess so.
Okay. Kenneth Bird is here tonight. I love that. Kenneth's always here showing support. So,
every live stream in history, Kenneth Bird.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, we got a meow going on.
Hi, Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, how are you?
He was the recipient of the comics that I gave away in my giveaway, and he just did an opening on.
Yeah, I saw that. So that's cool.
Meta babe.
Yeah, there's a history there. We're not going to get into it tonight.
So we're happy that you're here tonight, and if more people pile in, of course, we'll acknowledge them as well. Right now, we'll shift a little bit to DC Comics news from the past week. And did I hear, and I don't know if he wants to start out right away by making this guy happy. Maybe he wants to make me wait. But did I hear, SK, that you had Wonder Woman news for me?
Huge.
So here's what I did. When you said you had huge Wonder Woman news, I did not even go and look. So you would get a genuine reaction.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, so I'm going to pop my screen on here just so I'm going to talk about some names. We can put names with faces.
Okay.
And I have those up here. Which screen do I want? Which one is it?
So is this casting potentially for...
Yes.
Okay.
For Wonder Woman. So, starting off here, Ana de Armas. I think that's how you say her name.
Oh.
Let me back up before I get too far into it. So, all these people within the last 48 hours have followed James Gunn, all the DC executives, and have confirmed that they are in talks with Warner Brothers for, they said, major DC role. So, everyone is saying Wonder Woman.
Okay.
No one is denying it. No one's confirming it. But the speculation is heavy Wonder Woman, because that goes into the first bit of news, is that we will potentially get our Wonder Woman in the Supergirl movie at some point. Much Supergirl is appearing in the Superman movie. So, that's how it's
one trip's the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all these people started following DC people within the last 48 hours. This was number one. So she was in a lot of stuff, very popular. I recognize her from some movies. I don't know a whole lot about her, but I could see that, just by going off of her general appearance. She looks like she could be Wonder Woman. I think she'd make a great, Diana Prince. She kind of looks like Gal Gadot a little bit. Our next one is someone that I'm not familiar with at all. Monica Barbaro? Not sure. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. She's been in a lot of stuff, but nothing that I know of. So that's kind of neat.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, what's up, buddy?
Southern Comic Geek is here. Well, I'll answer that in a moment for you, Jason.
Yes. And then we have Isa Gonzalez. who's been in a ton of stuff, including she was the last one that I recognized her in was Baby Driver. So that's kind of neat. Again, I don't really know much about any of these people. And our next one is Adriana Arona, which, by the way, this young lady and a certain Jason Momoa announced that they are a couple. So there's her DC connection already.
She's got cred. Okay, good.
Yeah, and she was also in Mobius. So I don't know if that's against her. I would say out of all these people, this one is not going to be Wonder Woman. It's the fact that she is in Andor, a Marvel property. So I'm sure she signed some kind of exclusive deal. I don't know. Maybe she didn't. I don't know how the business works. Otherwise, I would be in the movies myself. And a lot of people brought up a good point. James Gunn loves to work with wrestlers. We have Dave Bautista. We have Peacemaker, whose name escapes me for some reason. John Cena. Mm-hmm. The Rock. He was helping with The Rock, be Black Adam. So it was no surprise that he threw a female. I mean, I don't know, but there's a female wrestler in here. I don't see this person being a Wonder Woman, and that is Ronda Rousey.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't see it. However, I think she would make a really good Giganta.
You know who I was thinking?
Who?
Black Canary.
Oh.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, maybe. I think she's too big. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, she's too big.
Yeah.
And believe me, no offense to her, she could pick me up and wring me out like a wet rag of all of my guts. You know what I mean? Like this lady could really destroy me.
Yeah.
So hats off to her. But I mean, I don't know, Mr. Lasso. Out of all these contenders, what do you think?
I think most of them are good picks. I mean, they definitely have the look going forward. One thing that they used to say in Hollywood, I don't know if they still say it or not, but it's still hard to fight this. Casting Linda Carter as Wonder Woman was the best casting decision ever made. I mean, when you looked at her, you instantly went, there is nobody else to play this role, you know? Yeah. So that's like lightning in a bottle. So to get that twice, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to, but there's some good contenders there for sure.
Yeah, and I would say, like, when they announced Gal Gadot, like, that was another one that, I didn't really know Gal Gadot before Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. I didn't either.
So maybe that's the direction they're going to go again. They're going to hire someone relatively unknown. And I think that's what they did with David, you playing Superman. I never heard of him. So the speculation is all these people came in and auditioned, and now they have moved on to, like, screen testing, wearing the costume, running a couple lines, seeing if there's a warm and fuzzy somewhere. So that's, again, this is all, like, speculation, but if the trend continues, you look at, the casting for the Superman movies, all these people that got picked started following DC executives, all started following James Gunn. I mean, there was rumor before they got picked. So, and some people called it on their YouTube channels that just speculate the whole time. A few people called it. They nailed it right on the head from day one. So, and the same people who called those and they were right, this is their final list here. So that's kind of exciting, getting a little bit more momentum.
Exactly.
And it could be good news for some interesting villains too. Not
there might be some villains in here. Maybe it's not Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a new cheetah in here.
There you go. I was thinking Feora. Maybe the late Rhonda, what's her name, could be a great if they brought back Feora and made her, like that story that we.
I could see Rhonda being a good Big Barda.
Oh,
yeah.
She's tall, she's
even
built,
better.
you know what I mean? She'd be a really good Big Barda.
How about a Dr. Cyber? I'd love to see her against
Cyber.
Dr. Cyber, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be fun.
I mean, it's kind of a lesser known villain, but boy, that arc with her against the, when she was I Ching, oh man, so good.
Yeah.
Lasso, is there a really big, like, Wonder Woman villain who's like, kind of like a Hulk, big, bulky?
Oh, them.
Them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I said that just for Sarah. No, Giganta would probably be.
Giganta would work, yeah.
Yeah. Although Wonder Woman has fought Blockbuster. Not the video chain store.
No.
I went to the video store. Yeah. No, she fought Blockbuster.
Hey, Christina Payne is here to say hi to us. How are you
Christina,
doing?
Welcome.
Christina, we're also doing a giveaway tonight. Your name just got entered on that list. Same with you,
Yes, it
Southern
did.
Comic Geek. So one thing that I saw news-wise that I was very curious to get the panel's opinion, Batman 158 is getting ready to come out. There's a little bit of the cover for you. It's the Hush 2, but there's a giant-size special edition. It's going to be bigger than a treasury.
What?
Whoa.
It's going to be 11 by 17, which is the size of, if you're familiar with the artist edition books, it's going to be that size, but it's not original art like the artist editions are. It's going to be a regular comic book. It's the first time DC has published something in this size. $14.99 regular, $19.99 for foil. What do you guys think of this?
It's like they're selling a book of prints. You know what I mean? It's like that size. So wait, I have to ask a dumb question. Is the entire story of Hush in this thing that they're?
No, this is a brand new issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably skip
cool.
it because I have the original Hush that I haven't even finished reading it because it came out in a little book.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Wolf brings up a good point. How would you bag that?
You don't.
Yeah. And hello to
have
Tony.
To make it out of other bags, I think, because there's a bag that's currently made that size.
Hello, Tony.
There is an art print one though that you can. I have.
That's true. That's true.
You can use that. Yeah.
So, Old Wolf, you're in the running for the giveaways. We got 2 giveaways later on. Ranger Sly, it's great to see you again too. Hope you've been doing well. Thanks for coming in. And I love Ranger Sly. Egg Foo. There's the villain that we need for Wonder Woman. Is Egg Foo.
Oh,
Egg Foo.
there you go.
Yes.
She defeats him with a spatula.
With the price of eggs, we can't afford them.
Yeah, probably out of the running.
Yeah, can't afford it.
Or the greatest villain of all time, inflation.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, would you guys pick up that comic book in that size just because it's in that size?
I would probably pass just because I'm not familiar with the artist, and
Okay.
it's if something that big, I'd want it to be displayable somewhere in my comic book emporium, and so I'm not sure.
Okay, Roger, what about you?
Yeah, probably the same thing as She Babbitt. I'm not much into modern artists as it is. It would have to really blow me away. I am intrigued by the size, but like She Babbitt said, I need something that I would be able to display and be something that I enjoy myself. Yeah.
Sure. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to echo everyone else's, what they said. But why would they do that? I mean, they know they're trying to sell this to us as a community of comic book collectors. So let's print this great book in this funky size that no one can really protect. I mean, I love to bag and board all my stuff. I don't have anything loose, so
How do we know there's not someone waiting to announce, guess what? I've got 11 by 17 bags and boards for you to put that book in.
And then my question then would be like, why? Why do you have that? I think size does matter. And shape.
And shape.
Size and shape.
Shape.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want a circle comic book. I mean, it's not going to fit. I don't make a bag and a board for a circle.
Yeah.
True.
I'm behaving myself because Roger's here tonight. So.
You're being yourself.
I'm trying. I might have a stroke before this show is over. So.
Take it easy then.
This is how the show
take some
generally
medication or whatever,
We generally devolve at towards the end to this type of humor, but now we're starting right.
Yeah, you're right. Usually it's at the end of the show, not the beginning.
I have that effect on screens for some reason. I mean, cover slingers devolve real quick.
Okay. Tony, do you have more news? Because I have another story.
That was kind of the big one for me, and I was kind of all over the place. That was kind of a breath of fresh air. There was one really small one where they released a picture of the new Lanterns, whose names escape me.
Yeah.
And only one of them was wearing a Green Lantern ring, which I thought was weird.
Can I just say I thought the guy who was playing Jon Stewart, and I assume that's who that character is, looked right.
Yeah, Jon Stewart. Yeah.
I thought Kyle Chandler looks a little old.
For Hal Jordan, yeah. But I guess in the storyline, like, he's already been Hal Jordan for quite some time.
Okay.
From how I interpreted it. So we're not getting like a Hal Jordan origin movie again.
Okay. Because he looks a little weather beaten.
Oh yeah, he looks like he just woke up under a bridge.
Exactly.
Well, I saw news-wise that DC Multiverse is ending their partnership with McFarlane Toys, and they're going to Mattel in 2026. So we don't know if that means that certain series that McFarlane's been doing, like the DC Retro or the Superpowers line, if Mattel will continue that, or if Mattel will go in a complete different direction. But this year that we're in right now will be the final year for McFarlane and DC Comics, because they're going over to Mattel next year.
Okay.
Cool. I don't know if that's good or bad, or I mean, I would say that, you know, McFarlane was probably the more collectible of the two companies. I mean, I don't know. I don't collect figures, so just going off of what I observe. No one's rushing out to Target to get Mattel toys.
Hey, Gora's here. How you doing? Let's not talk
Gora,
about that.
how you doing, buddy?
No Section 8? Come on!
No Section 8, but we'll put you on the wheel to win a prize tonight for stopping by.
Although, if they ever cast a dog welder person in a movie, I'm going to start giving away free comics. Just because if any DC comic book character is probably not ever going to see the light of the silver screen, it's probably Six-Pack and Dog Welder.
I don't know. Weasel made it
that
to the big
now.
screen.
You say
Well,
that
Weasel's
now.
just Weasel. We have one character who literally goes around welding dead dogs to criminals' faces.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that upsetting a number of people.
I don't know,
It was-
it screams cinema to me.
Watch it be the first one to win an Oscar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would definitely get a lot of attention.
John's Comics with Kids has joined us. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. John, have you listened to any Blondie songs lately? That's an inside joke. So, sorry. Just had to get that out there.
You had to do it.
I had to do it. So, all right. Any other news? Anything else we want to cover before we start segueing into the retro review tonight?
I got nothing.
Okay. Tony, question for you. And are you okay with the assist tonight, or do you need me to take care of it?
Yeah, give me a second. Which one are we doing first?
We're going to do the Kamandi issue first. So Roger picked out all three of the issues that we're going to retro review tonight. We're going to start with Kamandi number 29. Tell us why you picked this issue from 1975, I think it was.
Yes. Well, first of all, I've recently gotten, thanks to Sleepy Reader, the first 40 issues, the Kirby era of Kamandi, and have just so much enjoyed and immersed myself in this really separate universe from the rest of the DC, except for this issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
This issue, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's almost like a fan. When your show is called Fanboys, I figured this was an appropriate issue to pick.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll kick us off with our retro review tonight. So we have this interesting cover. We have a Kamandi, we have a gorilla, and then we just have a Superman costume there. And you're going, what the heck? So as the story starts in our first page splash, chapter 1, we have Kamandi and his friend who are looking up in the sky, and they realize it's not a plane or a bird, but something is flying across. And they're like, his friend is like, well, after everything we've been through, what the heck is this? That takes us over into what you're getting there is half of a two-page splash. Try going down one more. I think it might give us the full splash.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the Tablet of Revelation. And it's talking about years ago, the world shook and cracked and swallowed great cities, and all this lava started exploding, splitting the world into half. So essentially, it's the ocean between America and Europe. And this was a job for Mighty One. He came out of Clark Kent, to do his job. He flew where lightning roared, and he killed. He could whirl where no one else could fly. He could do all this incredible stuff, scooping up stones which mountains could rest on. His work was so gigantic that the mind could hardly understand what was going on. So great was the peril that even Mighty One saw the face of death. And when Mighty One was done, the fires were capped by miles of stone so huge that it became a new land for all of the creatures. So this is the story that they've just kind of stumbled upon. So Ben, who is Kamandi's friend, all of a sudden says, hey, look behind us, and there are apes. And they think that they have found the Mighty One, larger than life. He has come back, he is reincarnated, and they think it's Ben. And Ben is like, well, I think they're a little bit mistaken. And they're like, don't deny us your great powers or your wisdom. And Kamandi's like, let him do the talking and see what happens. That takes us to chapter 2, the legend, where one of the apes is having none of it, saying this possibly can't be the Mighty One. It's Zuma, the ape, who punches Ben. And he keeps assaulting him, and he says, look, he tumbles so easily, I don't need kryptonite to flatten him. And Kamandi's like, stop it, he hasn't done anything to you. And other people are telling Zuma to stop. But Ben gets a big punch in and knocks him pretty good and says, I don't need kryptonite either. And Zuma declares that he's going to destroy him, and they start getting into a fight. When all of a sudden it is decided, stop. The ancient rules are you can't use combat to judge and reveal who the Mighty One is. He must demonstrate his powers against overwhelming odds. That's the way it is. So they decide to take them back to where they live for the demonstration course. As they get there, they see someone who was also claiming to be one of the Mighty Ones, an ape, and he's ready to be catapulted into the air. And Kamandi's like, he could actually get killed, he can't fly. And they're like, wait a minute, that's what we saw just a few moments ago flying through the air. It was an ape trying to prove. So they fire this catapult, the ape goes, and Kamandi's like, I think he's going to buy the farm, essentially. And they're like, I hope, that he lands in those trees in a clearing or something where he's saved, otherwise, he... And they're claiming again that Kamandi's friend is the Mighty One, and Kamandi says, well, he can prove it. And his friend, Ben, is a little shocked, and he's like, Kamandi says, didn't the Mighty One have a secret identity? Well, Ben's got one as well. He says, all you have to do is press that disc that's on his chest. And he says, I'll show you what happens. So he presses his disc because Ben is a mutant. And essentially his body turns tough as steel, and like, well, is that proof enough? And some of them are instantly saying yes, others are saying no. That doesn't prove enough. He has to actually prove it through feats and stuff. So the test of strength is where they're going to go into Deceive or Die, chapter 3. There's this huge boulder, which they call it the Daily Planet. And someone has to move the Daily Planet because that would prove that they have the super strength. And Zuma is trying, and he just can't do it. I mean, it's so big and massive he can't, and he falls to shame in front of everyone. And finally, it's Ben's turn, and Kamandi says, all you have to do is just move the thing a little bit, and that will convince them. So what Ben does is he uses his foot, and he starts digging some of the earth out from below where the boulder is, and the motion of that causes the boulder to move a little bit, so thus making it look like he's the winner. And Zuma still is not believing it at all. Other people, and you can see that the apes are really split. Some are like, yeah, absolutely, this is the Mighty One, and others are like, no, he has not proved it, we want more tests. And finally they decide you have to do another test. So this time around, it's going to be the gun sights. So here are these guns, and he's got to be faster than a speeding bullet. So they put him in front, they put Ben in front of there, Kamandi's over there too, and all of a sudden this machine gun starts firing off all of these rounds, and luckily for Ben, he's not, they're bouncing off of him, and Kamandi's out of the way. Then we start out chapter 4 with my favorite splash. The beginning of this splash on chapter 4, Save the Super Suit, is just awesome. I thought that was so good.
Oh my God, Kirby goodness, right?
Yeah, that is so good.
Wow.
So Kamandi's worried about Ben, and he's happy to realize that he's alive, even though the bullets bounced off of him. And he says, well, maybe you are the mighty one, and he turns back into Ben from the fission, from his steel form back into Ben. And they say, okay, he's the mighty one. It's time to open the doors to the vault of the super suit. Well, Zuma goes crazy. And he starts cursing him, and he's like, the suit of the mighty one belongs to me. It belongs to me. And he starts running after it, and Kamandi's chasing him. And all of a sudden, Kamandi sees it with his own eyes. It's Superman's costume. And Kamandi says, that costume, it could only have belonged to him. And he says, it's mine now. Zuma claims it. And those two start getting into a tussle because Kamandi sees by an emotion that he doesn't understand that he must save the suit at any cost. And Zuma has it. Kamandi tells him to drop it, and they're fighting. And finally, Kamandi picks up a stone, hits Zuma with it on the head. Zuma's standing on the cape when Kamandi goes and rips it out from under him, tossing him backwards into this fiery pit, and he screams. Ben shows up, and Kamandi kind of runs into his arms and says it was horrible. He's like, hey, he might have killed you. He's like, I couldn't help it. I had to save the suit. I know who owns it. I know that somewhere he's still alive. And then Ben says, do you hear this? The true mighty one shall return for this. He shall appear as his true self and claim it. It's never to be touched until then. You have won the suit, thus your order shall be obeyed, the leader of the guerrilla says. Kamandi says, so be it. Not even a great disaster could conquer him. And Ben says, let's go, Kamandi. We got to find the land bridge, the new continent. And that's how the issue ends. So what do you guys think about this story? Since we're doing separate stories tonight, let's talk about each story as we wrap one.
Okay.
What do you guys think about this? This was my first time reading it. I was aware of the cover. I was very intrigued because I was like, well, what is the Superman suit doing there? I love how they tied all the little things in, like the Daily Planet, and they just tied up. I thought it was fun. It was just a fun read. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was clever. It's just a very clever story. And, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because you have a flying ape who's been catapulted. I mean, come on, man. But literally how history is, kind of a game of telephone in that. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm trying to make sense of with limited information and what would you come up with given all of that kind of stuff. So and the Kirby art, I mean, give me a break. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Yeah.
Roger, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think similar to Sarah, I think this was the reason I picked it though is that because Kamandi noticed that he didn't have to do this. He was never threatened or anything like that to actually have to put Ben Boxer through those trials, right? But he was a fanboy of Superman. Notice they never used the word Superman.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Kirby, I think at some point was going to bring Superman back into the Kamandi universe, but obviously that didn't last. It didn't last long enough. And so the cult of the apes, I think, was just fascinating because it's based upon little facts and legends that they interpret in their own way. Like the Daily Planet was not a planet; it was a newspaper, but they made it seem like it had to be an orb of some sort.
Yeah.
And the suit represented, like royalty, like that would be like the leader, the messiah of that tribe, So like Sarah said, it was like telephone. They didn't get all the facts straight, but they knew that it was important enough. And once they had the suit, they knew they had to find this individual. And so they made these tasks, almost like Hercules tasks, that they had to surmount in order to prove that you were this messiah or this bit larger than life being. I just thought it was a clever, very involved, very like a love letter to the Superman mythos, all in one. So that's why I picked it, because I thought it was an interesting one shot of a story.
I like it. Tony, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have too much experience with Kid Kamandi, but that's okay. I still enjoy Jack Kirby's work. I love these old classic art styles. They sure don't make him like they used to. Cliche kind of thing, but it's true. But this story I think was it was like as if they put the apocalypse and throw in a little Superman and Planet of the Apes into a blender, and this is what we got.
Here's my copy, by the way.
There you go.
It's a beautiful copy, but
Yeah.
I love it. I really do.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
That's cool. We're going to stick with the same year of 1975, and Superboy issue 209 is going to be our next review. Roger, you're going to do this. Tell us why you picked this story.
This is one of my very favorite stories. I'm a huge fan of Karate Kid and the relationship with Jackie or Princess Projectra, and I have just like when I was younger, I was into the martial arts, and so at this point, of course, everybody was kung fu fighting, in the 70s.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And to me, this illustrates what love is, right? That you sacrifice anything for that other person. That is your love. That is your soulmate. And up to and above, your own life. So that's why I thought this issue really hit home. There's actually two stories here. The second one I will go over as well, and it's an interesting little tidbit. But the main story is the first one.
Okay, take it away.
All right, written by none other than Jim Shooter, who created Karate Kid, and illustrated by Mike Grell, one of the greatest Legion artists there is.
Yep. Yeah.
And you start at the splash page. You see that there's one of the Legion cruisers are coming in, and Timberwolf sees that the angle is such that it's going to crash. So he grabs this cable and he throws it around the Legion cruiser to upright it and stop it a bit so that it will still crash, but a much more softer landing. And he kind of figures at the after this, he kind of figures, well, it's probably Projectra, woman driver, kind of a trope there. That's right. But, this is the 70s. So
1975.
Yeah, these things
more.
Kind of, you've done enough Lois Lane issues for me not to mention this.
Yeah.
So they go and at this point they go and check. Karate Kid comes out. And they go and check on Projectra, and they figure, oh well, she was just being a bad driver, but she collapses once she steps out of the cruiser. And so they're like, okay, we gotta figure out what's wrong with her. They don't have a doctor there, but they're Brainiac 5 and Superboy on an off planet far away. And Brainiac 5, of course, is level 5, whatever intellect. So figure he'll know what to do. And they ask him, and he says, okay, concoct this machine here, because I think what she has is, once they put her in that analyzer, is the pain plague. And the pain plague is always fatal because you go through these hourly cycles of intense pain that each one is greater than the next. And it's just not survivable. And so, he says there might be one chance. She has one chance. They construct this. Is this at the point where they construct? Yeah, they construct this contraption where each of them can take an hour of pain, and so that she's already gone through 2. So they need to take another 4, right? So they put their hands on these 2 balls and they take the pain away from her. She has a fever too, which means that she can't, she's unconscious, right? They won't give them the fever, but it'll give them the pain. And they said that's her only shot. Now, Superboy is way out there, and he has to fly at top speed to get the last hour. All right. So the first up is Timberwolf, and so he grabs those orbs and he takes in the pain, but it's so intense that he just goes berserk and he starts smashing things in the lab there. And so he has to be restrained because he doesn't have the fever, so he's not conscious or anything. So I believe Karate Kid battles him for a while. And eventually Saturn Girl numbs his optic load so he can't see, and then Karate Kid dispatches him with a judo hold or whatever, and then they tie him up so that he's not violent for the rest of the hour. Next page, I think.
a danger to himself.
And a danger to himself. Right, exactly, right. So in the battle, this is cool. In the battle, Karate Kid's old costume was ripped up. And this is kind of important because you sort of see at this issue a change in Karate Kid. And he gets a much more modern looking, karate outfit with these like leather gauntlets. And he starts talking to Saturn Girl about, what's going to happen going forward. And she is the one who's going to go next, even though he says he'll take both. He says, no, there's no way I'm going to take my part. There's a problem, though. If Saturn Girl gets the pain, she could, with her powers, either tell Karate Kid to kill her, or she could kill Karate Kid, or she could kill Princess Projectra because of the extreme pain. It brings like a madness with it. So what they figure is that they'll make her this numbing helmet so that she can't use her powers, and she's tied up so that she can't take it off. So that way, she's essentially just, depowered, right? So she takes the pain, and then they Karate Kid lays her down. All the while, Superboy is with his telescopic vision is seeing what's happening, and he's like, I gotta hurry, so that I can make it there for the last hour. But he says he'll make it, pretty much. So the hour's almost up, and he comes smashing through before even Karate Kid can take the pain. So he's like, no problem, I'm invulnerable. I can take these last 2 hours of pain, and everything will be fine. Next page there. Yeah, there. So as he sees, a Karate Kid, after he took the pain there, the pain from Princess Projectra, he's actually meditating, so that he's not. Even though he's in pain, he's sort of using his training to lessen the impact upon him. Okay, but when Superboy tries to take that last hour, it doesn't work because he's invulnerable. Brainiac 5 didn't know that contraption wouldn't work for somebody who's invulnerable.
Oh.
So that last hour of pain is the most powerful and will definitely kill her. So Karate Kid is saying, like, I'll take it. I'll even if it kills me, I'm going to take it because I love her and there's nothing I wouldn't do for her. And he's reaching for it. He gets clobbered by somebody off panel. You can see the bottom of her there. And then, she whoever it is, it looks like a woman, takes that last hour of pain. By the way, Superboy went to the lab to try to see if he can find another cure, another way of taking that pain away. But so he's out of the picture. And who was it? But Dual Damsel. See, because they sent Brainiac 5. I think Saturn Girl sent out a message to any Legionnaires in the area, but there were none. Nobody responded. But she's a reservist, and she did get the message. She made it there in time, clobbered Superboy, took the pain, and then divided herself in two so that the intense pain would be halved, so that she could survive the pain plague intensity at the end. Superboy gets there and he sees that they're fighting. Both her clones are fighting, so he holds them apart for an hour until finally the pain goes away, and then Projectra survives, is okay after that, and you can see Karate Kid and her getting and cuddling there at the end.
Did she say anything like, "Man, I like your new costume"?
She should have. You're right.
Sweet threads.
Hey Tony, I think Roger's going to do the second story for us. And are you going to do the second story
too?
Yeah,
we can do the second story real quick.
Okay. Yep. Sorry.
And while we're doing that, I'll say hello to Cliff on Comics, who's joined us. Cliff, you'll be entered into a giveaway. We got 2 giveaways going on tonight, and you'll be entered in. That we'll be doing our first one soon.
Yeah, I love the Cliff episode. I mean, he's not passionate about comics at all.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, it's too bad he's so shy.
Yeah,
very demure. It's a shame.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, too bad he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's so low key.
Yeah.
So in the second one, this boy wins some kind of contest, I believe it is. I think his name is Flint or something like that. And so he gets to be a Legionnaire for a day. So there he is being welcomed in by all the Legionnaires. You got Sunboy, you got Wildfire, Cosmic Boy, Shrinking Violet, etc. And they said, oh, we got a big surprise for you. And next panel there. Next page, I should say, whatever. Okay.
Is this yeah.
That's it, right. So they take them one back.
Okay, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, one back. I don't want my spiel to get too much ahead there. Right. So they whisk him away into the Legion headquarters, and they said, we have a surprise for you, a Legion flight ring. And it's too big for him, but it's the smallest spare they had. So he's like, no problem, I'm honored, this would be great. And so, he puts it on, but all the while, apparently there's an alarm going off that you can do the next page there. Apparently mail in the 30th century comes from a satellite, and it's like a Star Trek, it's teleported and reassembled, but it's screened, right? But apparently this went through the screen. It's not supposed to be anything dangerous, and it's some kind of creature. I forget what they call it. Some kind of werewolf or wolf beast that emanates through their pheromones this radiation that spreads out. So apparently, just the fact that they're in the same room means that they're probably dead in a little while, including the kid, right? And they're like, "We're so sorry, it may be too late." And he's like, no, "I'm going to be brave, just like a real Legionnaire." Next page there, Tony. So you see the sort of that, and it's a little cage in there, and that's the teleport reassembler. Again, they're talking, and so they say, "Okay, we got to find a way of getting in there and getting rid of that thing, right? Trying to teleport it somewhere else." So they each take a turn going in there using their powers to try to get rid or to teleport out that wolf beast. I forgot what it was called. Next one. I'm just kind of being quick on this one. It's a clever little bit, but it's not like anything. Right. So Cosmic Boy starts first. He goes in there and tries to use his magnetic powers to pull that lever, but instead the wolf beast supposedly uses his own powers against him, and he's bouncing off the metal walls and unconscious and obviously not working. All the while the boy is looking in there, and while he's trying to look in, his flight ring drops off. Okay, next page. I think Wildfire is next, and he goes in there. He's just going to blast that thing. It's just disintegrated because he has very power, very very strong energy coming out of him. But it backfires, it hits him and knocks him out. And now he's looking in there. He's like, "Hey, wait, what? I can't believe what I'm seeing here." And he's trying to get their attention there, but he's like, Sunboy's like, "Hey, this is Legion business. It's important stuff." So Shrinking Violet goes in there. She's like, "Okay, I'm going to sneak under there, very tiny." But as she tries to get in there, she grows and hits her head on the table and gets knocked out as well. All right. So I mean, Legionnaires they're just not their best day here. So Sunboy is left, and the boy is saying, "Hey, listen, you got to talk to me. You got to listen to me." And he's like, "Oh, come on, this is Legionnaire business." And then Saturn Girl, who has obviously can read minds, saying, "Oh, I know what he's thinking. No, leave him, let him go. Sunboy's, you're crazy. He's gonna get killed in there." So he goes in there and he just walks into the cage with that wolf beast, and the wolf beast disappears because Saturn Girl knew what he was thinking. You see, the flight ring, when he came off, next page, Tony, they were being hypnotized through the metal of the flight ring. So they were actually using their own powers against themselves. Notice the wolf beast didn't do anything. They all did it to themselves. It was a hypnotic suggestion. Once that flight ring came off, he was no longer under hypnosis, and he can tell that it was an empty cage, and thus save the day.
Okay. So we'll do some thoughts on this issue after we say hello to Darth Ken 81. Darth, we're doing some giveaways tonight, and your name is entered into that wheel. We got two times. We're going to spin the wheel in a little bit, and your name will be in there. So we'll start the opposite way. We'll have Signature King give his thoughts first.
Yeah, this one is unique in terms of a problem that our heroes have to solve. I never would have thought of putting a hypnotic wolf in the mail. It's very unique. Although what they should have done is just move it, like I would have just moved it to the recycle bin, and just be done with it. Well, they got there in the end, so more power to them. But yeah, this was pretty unique. I met Mr. Mike Lale a couple times. Super nice guy. Really enjoyed talking with him. So it's nice to see him when he comes up on the show every now and then. So very cool.
All right. Hello to Ruben Guzman, who's now entered into the giveaway. White Tiger, cool, calm, collected. Hope you're doing well. Okay, Roger, your thoughts on this issue tonight?
On the second story?
On both stories.
Oh, both stories. Okay.
Yep.
On the second story, I just think it's a cool little bit there. That was Carrie Bates, by the way, who did that story. Okay. Just to say that sometimes you have to listen, to not your elders, but those that are sure of the truth. Sometimes you, as adults, we sometimes don't listen to kids and their perspective. And sometimes they have a better perspective than we do. Sometimes they have a more clearer and a less opinionated, less, how can I say this, less bad experiences. Notice that Sunboy was not going to let him. And it wasn't until Saturn Girl read his mind and said, okay, he knows what he's doing. So I thought it was not as clever as the first story, but a nice little bit about, the youth and how that we have to listen to them. I think that's kind of like the moral behind it. And the first one, I think I said before, that there was a problem there that obviously that it was set up perfectly, right? That you had just enough people to be able to solve the problem of rescuing Princess Projecta, but it was Karate Kid's story, in my opinion. And the fact that he was going to do whatever it took to make sure that Princess Projecta was going to live through that, including taking that incredible pain and probably killing himself. A story of bravery, of love, and of extreme level of willpower on his behalf.
Cool. Sarah, your thoughts?
I thought the second story, I agree with Roger on that. It's just, the unjaded kid can sometimes, doesn't overthink it. Just go with your instinct. So that was nice. Now the first story, I'm sorry, I see that as a metaphor for menstrual pain.
Oh my God.
That never occurred to me.
And so the boys trying to handle that, they go crazy. They start fighting each other, and it takes two other women. It takes one woman to be able to split herself apart to be able to take the rest of it. I started to take that as like, take 2 Advil and
I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's never thought of that. Original right there. Nobody else would come up with that one.
Some of my favorite moments on the show where we come across like some of these terrible lines that don't age well at all, like a woman driver, like those are the best because they don't age very well.
No.
And there've been some doozies on the show. Like when Superman has to backhand slap a woman. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to think of something else. Like, that's not good.
Please.
Well, I have suddenly found myself wanting to buy this issue and maybe get it signed by Jim Shooter. So it definitely would be a conversation piece, that's for sure. I like seeing Duo Damsel come in and save the day and splitting that apart to, so it wouldn't be as painful for one of her, for two of her. Brilliant. I liked in the second story that we saw other Legion characters that weren't in the first story. But one more thing, jumping back to the first story, I have several of the Karate Kid comic books in my personal collection. I have maybe about half of the run because it didn't last all that long. And that costume that it gets first time in this story that it gets this costume, I always wondered where he got that, and it's cool to see that there's a story behind how he got it because the other one got ruined in battle, and I like that a lot. And I thought it was a fun book, and I'll never think of this issue the same way.
You're welcome.
Good.
So, real quick, when they brought in, I forgot the name, the lady who can split in half. What was her name again?
Duo Damsel.
Duo Damsel. Okay, so they said that she was a reservist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you want a book of all reservist legionnaires and what kind of silly powers they have. I think they're pretty fun. Yeah. Legion of superhero, the part-timers, the weekend warriors.
There is a Legion of substitute heroes.
Yeah,
is it really?
Hilarious.
Yes, there is. That does exist.
Is that who it is? Is it?
No, it's not them.
Guess who she's married to? Bouncing Boy.
I know who Bouncing Boy is.
His power inflates and bounces.
Bouncy.
What would their kids be? What kind of powers would their kids have?
They be a double barrel balloon, I guess. I don't know.
They can split in half and bounce? I don't know.
Remember Super Balls? Little Super Balls?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like it.
A little.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right. So our next story is from a couple years later. Is it 78?
77.
77. Okay. 77. So Roger, you picked out DC Special number 29. Yep. And tell us a little bit why you picked that issue.
Okay. I am very interested in stories that go back and fill in gaps, but are new at this point, not now, of course. And so this sort of tells you how, or one of the possible ways that how the JSA was formed. And, again, Levitz wrote it and Staten art, which, by the way, I met Staten at the Heroes Con. And two of my favorite, Levitz writing Legion and Staten on E-Man. So I had to buy this issue. And when I read it, I was like, it's a clever way how they fit the way that they were able to interject these characters and bring them together, and the situation sort of warranted it. So that's why I chose it.
Okay, so for this story, it's a longer story. The first half, which is the beginning through Chapter 3, is going to be done by Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe, and then Signature King will take over Chapter 4 to the end. So take it away, Shebab.
Sure. Well, it starts out with a wonderful Neal Adams cover on that. And the first splash page, you get a nice portrait of the Justice Society and the untold story of their origin, which until I read this, by the way, I didn't know it was never told before. So there you go. So basically, it's quickly here. It's 1940. America is not yet in the war. And a British spy agent meets with Roosevelt to tell him that there are plans for the Nazis to invade Britain. And Roosevelt, who, by the way, I love the depiction of him art-wise in this thing.
It is really cool, yeah.
I mean, great. Roosevelt explains that he can't enter the war unless the United States is attacked first. But there are these costume hero people who have been popping up in the last few months. If you remember, 1940, 1939 is when Superman shows up. So in the last few months in their timeline, some of these costumed people have been appearing. And Roosevelt thinks, well, maybe we can send them to Europe to help out. And then you get this lovely little bottom panel where he's sharing pictures of Batman, Green Lantern, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, the Flash, and I think that's the Spectre there. So basically the Batman and Green Lantern and Flash all meet for the first time, and they are getting together to meet with this British spy who tells them what their mission is, and off they go. And they end up in Scotland. There's a remote castle in Scotland that the Brits have discovered is a secret Nazi base. And by the way, you have a nice little cameo of Agent Digby. So Ralph Digby's there, but we never see him again in the story, but it's just fun. So the Brits jam the radio signal of this castle, which allows the heroes to get in, and what they want to get are the invasion plans, and surprisingly, a fight ensues. And the heroes are doing really well until the Germans unleash a big green Nazi robot who just clobbers them unconscious in short order. And then meanwhile, after the daisy, meanwhile, in Salem, Massachusetts, Dr. Fate is watching this on his crystal ball television. And he finds the Hour Man and tells them that, guess what? We're going to go join this fight. And then we're in chapter 3, we're back in Berlin, where Hitler has a massive rally where he's planning to kill Batman, Green Lantern, and the Flash to demonstrate Nazi superiority. Now, Hitler has a magic spear of destiny, which apparently was introduced in a previous issue of Weird War Tales, which I kind of want to get now to see more about this spear of destiny. And just as he's about to do our trio of heroes in, Dr. Fate and Hour Man show up to disrupt the execution. Hitler uses the spear to bring forth a herd of Valkyries to fight the heroes. And my favorite line of the story, again, 1977, Green Lantern is asking Dr. Fate, when the Valkyries have showed up, Fate, who are these weird women? So the weird women on their winged horses are taking it to our 3 heroes and battling up in the sky. And meanwhile, Hitler's like, "Ay, this is nuts. You know what? Let's order the ships to sea. We're going to invade England tonight." The weird women and the heroes battle it out in the sky. Hitler is deciding now's the time to invade. And basically the first half of the story ends with the heroes indisposed. Germany and the German Navy is heading toward England. And Dr. Fate seems to send some kind of golden tentacle across the Atlantic to the United States, but we don't know why. I'm not even going to ask how he does it, but a big tentacle stretches across the Atlantic and heads for the U.S. And then we're at chapter 4.
Take it away, Tony.
Yeah. You missed the best part of your story when Hitler takes off the Batman mask.
Oh, okay.
And it's Batman still wearing
a mask. I did forget that. Sorry.
When I peeked ahead at that, I was like, "What a Batman thing to do!"
Even in 1940.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 1940, they were still doing that. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, or 1978 when this came out. Like, that's how old that gag is. Who's under the mask? Batman's under the mask. So anyway, Dr. Fate's weird. I missed that part. I didn't know it was some kind of tentacle. I just thought I thought somehow they incorporated Wonder Woman's lasso. But anyway, Dr. Fate's weird tentacle is grabbing the Sandman, and he's going to be part of this fight. So here we have the Sandman, Atom Smasher, and Hawkman, I guess, being grabbed by this tentacle, and they look up at the moon and they see the silhouette of a person, and their understanding of what the scenario is and what they're gonna have to do comes to light when it's crazy crabs. Just kidding. We go to chapter 5.
Great segue, Tony. There.
Yeah, nice.
I read the ads just as they come in. Sometimes it's a Red Rider, sometimes it's a Twinkie, other times it's crazy crabs.
And this one, a crazy crab named Susie. So go ahead.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So we have our. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and guess that this story is not historically accurate.
No,
it reads a lot like a Quentin Tarantino film if he was doing the DC universe.
Very well said. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, very well said.
Which I would pay to watch. But anyway, so here we go. Hitler's invasion of Dover. You see the cliffs there. So they're invading Dover, and who shows up? It's here, as we just talked about, Hawkman, Hourman, and Atom Smasher doing their thing, beating some Nazis. This had been my favorite panel here at the bottom. It looks like Sandman reaches deep into his pocket and pulls out a fistful of sand and just throws it at the Nazis, like taking the name quite literally. Now they are incapacitated because they got sand in their eyes. Now they can't fight.
And they're going to get very sleepy.
And they get very
sleepy. Yeah. But I mean, if you didn't know what his powers were, you'd be like, really? Yeah. You hit the panic button and called this guy? Too funny. So they realized that the silhouette on the moon was none other than the Spectre. We cut back to Berlin with Dr. Fate and crew still battling the Valkyrie. I almost said unicorns. That would have been right. One thing I want to point out, the Valkyries, they come from Norse legend, which I think is pretty unique and maybe a testament to their attention to detail. With the artists on here, is they put like little tiny swastikas, if you pay attention to the Valkyrie, on little, like their little brooches. In this case, on the hilt of the sword. I don't know why I'm pointing at it. You can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, right on the hilt of the sword here, there's a little tiny swastika, which I thought was pretty cool. Attention to detail wise. I just want to make that clear.
Just to remember what team you're fighting for.
Yes, yes. But I think Hitler's starting to realize he may have bit off more than he could chew. But anyway, he goes to his staff, and I gotta say, reading the parts for Hitler. Have you ever guys seen the movie Jojo Rabbit? It's really funny. The guy who directed Thor, I can't remember his name. The really funny guy who played the Rock guy in the Thor movies. He voiced the Rock guy. I can't remember. But anyway, he played Hitler, a really funny version of Hitler in Jojo Rabbit, and now I can't not hear his voice and picture him. But reading his voice is, where is mein Staff? It's funny how they mix that German and English in there. Anyway, it's funny to me. I don't know why, but
und these women are losing.
Yeah, because when classic bad guys, are defeating you, they have to tell you exactly what they're doing. Like every James Bond villain ever. So anyway, they launch the invasion of Britain, and who's there to stop them? This 400 feet tall, sitting in the English Channel, the Spectre, looking like a kid with his little boats in the bathtub. I got to point something out here. So he scoops up the admiral in command of Hitler's fleet, and he looks into the eyes of the Spectre and sees nothing but death, and he passes away. So they sink all these boats. Okay, that we're talking probably thousands of people. They killed all of them. They spared nobody. And they're actively sinking, and there's you can see off in the distance, you can see like a hand sticking above the water. No one's bothering to save that guy. Just let him go. I mean, I get it. At the time, they were very yeah, let's go beat up some Nazis, but why not take a prisoner or two? But anyway, yeah. So they defeat the invasion force heading to the United Kingdom. Here's where our forces are slowly starting to meet up. They've rescued Batman. Here they're having their high five moment, but they still have to deal with these Valkyries and these strong men that are coming to help them. But the battle is quickly going to be moved over to the United States. Washington, D.C., to be more specific. So the battle starts to ensue over Washington, D.C., and here comes Superman, ready to beat the Nazis and Swamp Thing, apparently. One thing I really love about, cartoon World War II things is, to tell you that this is a bad guy thing or a Nazi thing, they stamp a swastika on it. Like this big cartoonish bomb. It's got a big swastika on it. In case you were confused about what bomb this was from. And I don't know why I do this, but I like to overanalyze things. Can you imagine being at the factory, being the guy, your sole job is you got to paint this bomb with a giant swastika on it that they're just going to blow up. The goal is for it to not exist anymore.
you makes the swastika bigger. Bigger.
And I could just imagine all the bureaucratic spending to, budget for that, pick a color, all that good stuff. So maybe that's why they lost. I don't know. But Superman is able to stop the bomb. Of course he is. And there's this cartoonishly large machine gun for some reason on top of the White House that's, doing their part to stop the Valkyries. And I didn't see the previous illustrations of FDR. This was the first one that I saw. And I was like, for a second, I thought it was the Penguin. Like they were substituting FDR as Penguin.
Exactly.
Because he's got the big cigarette holder, you know what I mean? And then I looked more at him and was like, man, they did FDR bad. Like they did him dirty. Because it looks nothing like him. I don't remember his head being that big. Man. But yeah, the one of the Valkyries breaks into the Oval Office and is ready to stab FDR, but in his way is the Atom Smasher. So they prevent that. Superman grabs the last Valkyrie in like a headlock, but she quickly disappears. And the Spectre said they went back to whatever realm they went to. And Superman and the rest of the Justice Society are like, we're always here to help, Mr. President. And that's really kind of it. That's our story of the Justice Society and how they defeated Hitler.
All right, Sarah, we're starting with your comments.
I loved it. I really did. I bought this a couple of years ago because I didn't have it in my Neal Adams collection. And I just thought it was neat. And also in the book, there's a big section of the story behind the story where they talk at length about the fact that, wait a minute, we've never had an origin story for the Justice Society. How should we do it? And I thought this worked really well. And I really enjoyed the art, the big panel of Superman showing up. This has been a favorite recent find for me, even though it came out in 1977. So I give it a big thumbs up. So and apparently there were plans for Germany to invade England, but it didn't happen, and no one knows why.
No, yeah, we don't know why.
I know why.
No one knows why. Well, now we know.
Why didn't they stop Hitler? They just stopped the invasion of the United Kingdom. Like they didn't go back and arrest Hitler.
No.
So thanks, Justice Society, for nothing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the Spectre just as a 40-foot tall guy, it's like, couldn't you take care of a lot of things?
You
really
think,
quickly? Yeah. But no, it's a lot of fun. I liked it.
Hello to Ben Compton.
They sell comics, though, so they needed to keep a threat alive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Hello to Ben Compton, who's been with us for a little bit, too.
Hey, Ben.
Great to have you here.
Good to see you here, buddy.
So this is an issue I don't have yet, but an issue that I want for many reasons. It check marks a lot of the boxes that I like. Bronze Age, Joe Staton, even though she was only on one page, there was a Wonder Woman in there on that first page, that group shot on the first page. I don't know where she was. I know she was the secretary, but would have been nice. I'm just saying. Yeah, but no. I thought it's an interesting read. Roy Kirk was asking if it's a double-sized issue. Yes, it is, which is why we broke it up into two people reviewing it. I'm going to get this someday. I've met Joe Staton as well. It was a fantastic experience. I'll tell you really quick. I asked to get a picture taken with him, and we did. And then he asked to have a picture of me on his phone too, and I thought that was so nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, the only other person that I ever remember doing that was Marie Osmond. I asked Marie Osmond, take a picture, and then we got done. And then Marie Osmond, she's like, well, I want a picture with Ryan on my phone too. And I'm like, oh. Anyway, I digress. Yeah.
Cool.
Tony.
Yeah, I like some of these old ones that, it's kind of campy what they do, the villain, the story, the threat, and how they defeat it, and the over-the-top stuff. I don't know why, but that's just always those are the best reads. These freakishly large bombs, stop a Superman that's got a swastika on the side, like just the silly stuff like that. It's just, I love it. It really does bring a smile to my face. But funny story about Joe Stanton, who I've met a number of times. I agree, he's probably one of the nicest people that go to conventions. I had him sign my Power Girl Uncovered, which is a bunch of Power Girl art from various artists, and he's included in there. And I presented it to him to sign it, and he's like, "What is this?" And I told him what it was, and he's like, "I've never seen this before in my life." And I'm like, "Okay, that's okay. I don't know how to respond to that." And his wife was explaining to me, like, when they reprint your artwork or your writing, like, DC is obligated to send you a copy or whatever. I don't know how it works, but I guess he's done so much for DC over the years. He has a garage just dedicated to the stuff that boxes that DC sent him that he's never opened or has never seen. So they're just sending him stuff that'll probably never see the light of day. So he first, like the Power Ground cover, he's never seen it before, never heard of it. So I can just imagine this.
See, the thing is, that's his merchandise for his shows.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to be taken to, because I think they send at least 5 copies, from what I've heard. They send at least 5 copies. You take 2 or 3 of them.
Sign those suckers, and
Yeah, that's your merch.
That's your merch.
But I can just imagine he's got this, storage shed he lifts up every time and just like squeezes this box in here, just like it's so tight in there, you know what I mean? It's like busting at the seams.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey man, you need help going through that at all? Like, are you ever going to?
Yeah.
No, okay, but
his wife is like, oh, for crying out loud, will you take
another one? Just throws it on the stack. It's like when Scrooge McDuck dives into his money, it's him and his boxes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
All that makes sense.
Okay, Roger, your thoughts.
Yeah, I just think that what impressed me about this is that it really channeled the spirit of those Golden Age stories. You can't overthink it. You can't, apply strict logic to it. You just have to sort of go with the flow, and it takes you on a nice little ride. Again, All-Star 3, when we see them, they're already sitting at the table there all together. How did they get together? We didn't know. And this is one, I think it's other stories after this has also done the same thing. But this is the first time that I know where it said, okay, this is how they came together. And it makes sense, right? We didn't want to get into the war at that point yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we sent agents over there that are not affiliated with the government, sort of, to take care of this particular problem. And at the end, Tony didn't talk about this, but right at the end, the president, Roosevelt, says, okay, now you can become an army battalion. And Superman said, no, we are not an army battalion. We are a group after justice.
Mm.
And that's where Justice Society started. So I thought it was a really nice little way of bringing together and filling in the gaps from those Golden Age stories that, we just didn't know how it occurred. We knew that they were individuals, and they had a lot of individuals, and they had met here and there, but we didn't know why they became a team, and this actually told us why.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very
awesome. So we have more coming up on Fanboys, but I think it's time we spin the wheel.
Yeah,
we're going to spin the wheel twice, just to let you know. So if your name doesn't get called this time, don't go away, because it doesn't mean it's not going to get called when we spin it again. So the wheel is coming up, and you have everyone on there. Why don't we take about 20 seconds here? If anyone is watching that has not commented yet, why don't you... Now is the time to do that. So we'll kill about 20 seconds in case anyone wants to just pop in and make sure that they got on there. Look at that fancy wheel.
Wow. The king has his own.
Yeah. Tony goes all out, I tell you.
I do.
Yeah.
He knows how to brand.
It's all about branding. It's self-marketing.
Yep.
Yeah, and that Jughead cap that you have is just.
I get that most. That's the most common comment. Oh, you like Jughead? No, not really.
It's my crown, damn it.
All right, Tony, if you want to recap, what prize are we giving away this time?
Yeah, so winner A will receive one of the original Walmart grab bags that they don't do anymore. What's interesting about this one is not only you get the books, but on the back is a mask. So that's kind of neat. The other winner will get the remix, the V2 of the Walmart. Will get 2 of the new packs. I want to say new, but they don't do them anymore. These ones are just the books. They didn't include any mask or anything. It was just advertisements for more books. I don't know if any of these contain the chasers, but there were chasers in the Walmart packs. I didn't get any, but I know people that did.
Okay, so which one are you giving away this time? Or are you letting the winner choose?
We'll do the newer packs first.
Okay, so this winner is getting both of those packs that you're showing right there. Okay.
All right, let me shuffle.
Give it a whirl.
Beep, 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 beep.
Spin it like she's Diana Prince.
Here we go.
Wonder
Big money, big money.
You're a wonder woman.
Who is it?
Who is it?
It's gonna land on Ben
Compton.
You spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry.
We'll still let you have it, even though he spelled your name wrong.
So Ben, get with me on Instagram or Magic Lasso, or anybody on the show tonight. I'll get your information and I'll send you these bad boys at some point this week. So that's kind of neat. Ben Compton.
Now we're going to spin the wheel again, so don't think that you have to file out of here because we're not done yet. So we're going to spin the wheel again in just a little bit, okay? But first, we're kind of up to our book show portion. And this is where it's kind of our show and tell portion. And I thought, since she has a birthday coming up this week, that we'll start with our awesome silver hair Bronze Age babe. Tell us what's going on your channel and then a book show, please.
Okay, so what's going on my channel leads into my book show. Tomorrow morning, there will be a new video from me. I got an A-OK from Lady Fantastic this week.
Oh, nice.
And she did me well. I mean, oh my God, it was great. I'm just going to tease one of the books that she sent.
Okay.
Which is this Lois Lane.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I squeal like a little child in the videos because yes, I do have a copy of this book, but my original copy is incomplete. And so this had been on my list to get, I need to, get a complete book. And look, Lady Fantastic sent it to me. So Lois Lane,
wow.
number 11, Jungle Girl. Now this leads into the other book I'll show, which I did get today from my local shop. This is Lois Lane as Superwoman. This is a variant cover for the Superman book number 23.
Nice.
And I have been reading this since she became Superwoman. I've got a video of what I think about it on my channel. If you want to stop by and do the great honor of checking that out, I'd love it. But part of my Lois Lane on the Cover series and collection, I have to have it. And this is why I love my LCS. They know that I collect Lois Lane on the cover, so they just go ahead and buy the variants.
Nice. That's a good LCS when they know their customers.
They know me, so there you go. So
that's awesome. So the next person we're going to do for a book show just celebrated a channel milestone. He's our special guest tonight. Roger, talk about your channel, anything that's recently happened, anything that's about to happen, and then you can segue into your book show.
Yeah, I had a 1,900 subscriber giveaway a couple of weeks ago, and thanks to this community, I think I needed 35 subscribers by the end of the weekend. It was done.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's nothing I don't think I did. I think that's the community doing videos, putting on Instagram, on chats, all those kinds of collaborations came together, and again, I am so honored and so blessed to be a part of this community because of things like that. Not because of the subs, because of the relationships like we have here. So I do a live stream on Tuesdays. I generally drop some kind of funky or weird, obscure video on Thursday. So you can check that out if you would. I just wanted to show there's this comic here. I mean,
I've got that book. It's awesome.
He's a great writer. Let me tell you.
Totally. Where's more author?
Yeah, I mean, one shot. I mean, kind of.
I can get you a signed copy of that.
So, why? Do you know someone that could do it?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, you do. You got connections, boy. So these. I picked these out for Tony because when I was at Heroes Con, I met Dan Jurgens, and he,
wonderful guy.
Obviously, we all know about his Superman work, but he did a couple of Legion covers, which were just fantastic. And here's 321.
Ooh, I like that.
And there's his signature down there. I'm not a big signature guy, but I really like to meet these creators. So, c'est la vie, right? I mean, I talked to him. He's a great guy. And there's 322.
Ooh.
Wow.
So,
nice.
So those are two. I don't know if Tony has his signature. Probably has dozens of them, but
too many to count.
Too many to count, right? So I thought I'd show stuff. You guys are like DC experts. You guys have seen it all. You guys have heard it all. So I picked a few things maybe you haven't seen too much of, right? So here we have the Aurora comic scene Superman model comic book.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually a comic book with instructions inside of how to put together the Superman model. It looks
I love that.
That's great.
And then we have the Superman 3D with the glasses here.
Oh, that is
nice.
a treasure. Look at that.
That's a piece of history. Yeah, that's wild.
Right? And then, this one here, it came with a golden record, but it is a reprint of Superman's origin.
Wow, I've never seen that.
No. Wow.
What year is that again?
1966.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have the record, but I have the comic. And this one here is cool. This was sent to me a long time ago by Joker 68. It's a CD-ROM Superman comic book. It's a comic and a CD-ROM in there. So you can, this was from way back, guys. Yeah.
The Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
All the way back in the 90s.
Superman is an animal lover, Shebab? Yes, he is. In fact, here we have Superman for the Animals, #1.
Oh,
he's holding a little kitty
little kitten.
Yeah. That's a key, and I don't remember why, but I remember it being a key for something.
Okay. I did not know. And Supergirl is also very conscious of our safety. So here she has the American Honda presents Supergirl seatbelt safety issue. No, she's rescuing this guy who had a seatbelt. And if that's not enough, she went to even more. And the newer Supergirl also did a seatbelt safety with this guy here.
Yeah.
So I mean, she is obviously very, very in tune with automobile safety. Now, and does anybody here go to Pizza Hut for pizza? Or
yes.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, I bet you have these, but I went and I got these when I was a kid.
So Roger, you're the first person I know that actually went and got them at Pizza Hut. Did they just did you have to request them? Did they just hand them out, or what was the deal with that?
I was 12 years old, so I don't remember exactly how I got them.
Okay.
But I not all of these are from when I went to Pizza, but I know this one is.
Oh, wow.
This one is not, but I found a really nice set of these at a garage sale maybe a dozen years ago.
Yeah.
So I had to pick them up. And this one is one of my originals right here.
Yeah.
And notice that up here it says Pizza Hut Collectibles Collector's Edition Volume 1. There was never a Volume 2 that I know of, by the way. Yeah. There's 6 issues in the set.
I got that one recently. I found that one recently.
It's the big 3. It's 2 Supermans, 2 Wonder Woman, and 2 Batman.
Cool. And of course you have them all.
Yeah, of course.
I've never seen the Batman ones.
There's 2 Batman ones. And then I'll finish with this one because I don't want to hog too much time. It's the Batman Zeller's Word to the Wise Canadian giveaway.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yes. This was sent to me by my friend Mr. Miracle, who lives up in Ottawa. And it's funny because it says $1.25 value, and then with filler paper, 29 cents.
Okay.
Whatever.
In case you needed to know that.
I just thought I'd show you something because I love the marketing and distribution aspect of comics, and so giveaways is a natural segue for me into loving this particular segment of comics.
Oh yeah. It's perfect. Yeah.
That one Supergirl you showed, the last one with the thing that looks like a clock or a Humpty Dumpty or whatever. Yeah. That one's on my to get list because I have the other one.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for.
It's hilarious, Ryan. It's I'm not going to spoil it for you. It is hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember the Superman? Was it Superman who had the Tandy computer thing?
The Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
Well, you have let's see, you have the Whiz Kids.
And yes, there.
Ryan probably has the Wonder Woman issues.
Superman and Wonder Woman Radio Shack. Yeah.
There were a couple of those, right?
Yeah.
They'll do anything to sell computers, including have DC partner with them. Archie also partnered with them for a while.
Oh wow.
The cringe factor is just so high,
and
yet so fun.
Yeah. We're going to head over to Tony, but first, hey, Kenneth, if you want to resend me something, I didn't get anything, and I looked in my other folder, too. It's at The Magic Lasso on Instagram. So, cool. Mr. Tony, what's going on with your channel? What you got for a book show? And yes, folks, another giveaway coming up.
On the channel, I've got a bunch of shorts planned. I just got to, do them. I think I might be out of the doghouse a little while, so we'll see. But cool, fun project coming up. I'm going to a convention. I'm not going to say which one because it's huge. I've always wanted to go to it. There will be other people there that I'll meet for the first time, so that's exciting. But I wanted to show you what books I'm taking with me and kind of my thought process. So cover artist Dustin Nagan is going to be there, who did a lot of work with DC Night Terrors. As soon as I show you one, you're going to know the art I'm talking about. So he did a lot of these covers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him to sign in black ink on the red parts of the covers. And if the writer is going to be there, I'm going to have them sign, in red on, or whatever the other opposite said. I don't remember. Someone signed it in red, someone signed it in black, and the opposite colors. And yeah, I've got a bunch of these covers I'm going to go with. And there's a lot of other cool stuff I'm not going to share, except this one. I think it's going to be really cool, so I'm excited to show you that one once it's all said and done. But yes, Southern Comic Book Geek brings up a good point. The Sig Slayers, Southern Comic Book Geek, and myself are partnering up on a giveaway. All you got to do is, I don't have the links handy, but if you go to Southern Comic Book Geek's YouTube channel, mine, or Sig Slayers or Stash Fam, all the details are there. All you got to do is comment on whatever video our channels have picked. You can get this really cool Jim Lee backpack that he designed for bringing to conventions.
Oh yeah, I know. That's cool.
And they stopped making them, so you can give your chance of getting one right here. So just head on over to his channel if you want, or mine, but probably his. And lots of details right there too.
I'm entering that one.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could just get one.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, cool. I'll do my book show. Incidentally, Tony, can you just double check for a second, too, to make sure Kenneth Bird's name is on the wheel?
Confirmed, he is.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So here's what's going on my channel. Let's talk about what has already happened. My current back issue of the week short that I drop on Monday mornings, the current one is New Teen Titans Volume 2, which was the Baxter Direct that Perez and Wolfman did starting in '84, issue 1. That's the current back issue of the week. I did a comic book editions video on my channel this past week, and that was a Bronze Age Brian AOK from MegaCon, and it was a legendary creator signature that he got for me. A legend.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Okay.
So I was really happy, and this might tip you off a little bit as to what book it was.
Yeah.
So, so that's on my channel, as well as John's Comics with Kids and I did another JLA versus Avengers this past week live. We did issue 9, so we took JLA Volume 1, issue 9, which is their origin issue. And then we took Avengers Volume 1, issue 9, which is the first appearance of Wonder Man. Wonder Man? Anyway, we battled the two of them off to decide who had a better issue number 9. And we have several different criteria and stuff, and I'm just going to brag for 1 second because it's the first time it ever happened. After never even getting a nomination, the MVP was Wonder Woman.
Wow. There we go.
I mean, keep in mind, Aquaman has won MVP. Snapper Carr has won MVP. Paste Pod Pete was nominated for MVP, and he was only in one page of the issue. And this is the first time she was even got nominated, let alone won.
Wow.
Sometimes the winners they collect the award for the span of their career.
That's true.
Exactly.
The Susan Lucci.
The Susan Lucci.
Yes. So that's what's on my channel. What's coming up tomorrow is back issue of the week, of course. I don't know. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if Sarah remembers this or not. Sarah was my inspiration in the month of March, which is International Women's History Month. The entire month of March in my back issue of the week shorts will be devoted to female characters in my collection. And that was inspired by her. This is the 4th consecutive year that I've done that for the month of March. So we have a Marvel female in tomorrow's back issue of the week dropping. Fingers crossed, on Tuesday there will be a video that I'm still editing and tweaking. This will be a lot of hardcovers and omnibuses shown in that. So, including one that's out of print, one that was a Christmas present, one that was just released, and some more fun stuff. I think that's cool. Hey, Rod the Rican, thanks for dropping in. Good to see you here. So that's what's coming on my channel. I say all of this to finally get to the book show portion. I want to start out with, I chose this. I think it's going to be pretty obvious the second I show it why I chose this. The passing of Gene Hackman this week. Or at least we found out this week. We don't know when he actually passed. But here's a depiction of him in Superman 78, which I love this series. When I read this series, I hear Christopher Reeve voices. I hear Margot Kidder voices. I hear Gene Hackman voices.
I got to get that series.
You really should. It's good.
Yeah.
And there's 2 different volumes of it, just FYI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the first volume. I like the first one a little bit better than the second one, but it's still fun.
Great. Okay.
And then I saw this, if you've been watching Roger tonight, back on his wall, I saw him have this on the back of his wall, but I pulled this out to share anyway, since he did a Superboy in the Legion. And this is where Saturn Girl gets married and gets her new costume. Am I right on that, Roger?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
Yep, that's correct.
And it's a nice little wraparound. So I thought that would be fun to share tonight as part of the book show. And then also, I mentioned this before too, I would watch Roger's channel all the time, and I would see this in the background. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to go and buy myself one because I loved it so much. And every time I see this, I instantly, even if it's here in my home, I just see it, or if I'm at a store somewhere or see it, or I see it online, I instantly think of Roger on this. Although I've never really had a conversation with him about this book or anything, but it's just from seeing it on his channel so much that I was like, why don't I have that? So I did get this, and it's one of the books that always makes me think of Roger. So since he's here tonight, I just wanted to share that as well.
Thank you, Ryan. That makes me feel really good, man. That's really special. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what's going on.
It's one of my favorite treasuries too. But Mike Grell with all the Legionnaires flying out.
Yeah, that's really, so really good. Fun.
Yeah.
I also want to say that you can share a book show with us on Instagram. Use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. We'd love to see what you have to share with us too tonight. So that's awesome. So we're not going to wrap up until we get us another winner. And did you get Rod added in there?
Added Rod.
Wonderful. So this time you want to recap what the prize is?
So we have an original Walmart grab bag for comics with your very own Jared Leto mask, it looks like.
Oh, God.
I don't know what Joker this is supposed to be. It looks like Michael Jackson, really. In the chin, I don't know why. So we'll shuffle it up. Okay, here we go. So good luck to everybody. Here we go. Big money, right. Big money.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Does it creep it?
No. Yeah. Look at that. The Wi-Fi working tonight paid off for him.
Oh,
yeah.
Meow.
Look at that. Very cool. Nice. So, again, to our winners, we have Ben Compton and Jackson Workirk. Reach out to myself or Magic Lasso and give us some shipping information. And shipping's on me, so don't worry about it. And we'll get that off to you at some point this week.
Congratulations to our winners, but everyone here tonight is a winner to us. And if you watched on the rewind, you're a winner as well. We appreciate you wanting to spend your time. Roger, you're freaking awesome. And it was...
Yeah, you are.
It was amazing that, and I'm so thankful and appreciative that you came in and were part of the show tonight. And just thank you for being all of our friends. Thank you for the knowledge you share with the community. Just thank you for being you, and you are welcome back on the show anytime. No invitation required.
Oh, yeah, you're too kind. You're too kind, really. I'm just a regular guy who just collected comics during my youth, and one day somebody said they wanted to see some comics. I made a video and kaboom! This has really just ballooned into a huge cadre of friends and like-minded collectors that I would never have imagined. After 7.5 years, I would be so immersed in a community like this. But thank you very much, Ryan. I love this show. Unfortunately, on Sunday nights, I'm usually not available. My wife is out of town, so that's why I check this day.
Yeah.
But I do watch your show rewinds all the time, and you guys do a great job, and I'm honored to be here, really.
Awesome. Cool. And now, before we go, Signature King Tony will sing Happy Birthday to Sarah. Go.
No, really.
I'm not ready.
It's fine.
Well, it's your internet's birthday, too. We're talking about backstage. Her internet is also celebrating her birthday.
A significant birthday.
Very significant, yeah. I'm blown away. I love my things too, but you're taking it to the extreme. You know?
The Wi-Fi hotspot and I love my router. What can I say?
So what's the how does your Wi-Fi hotspot get along with the microwave? Are they friends at all?
They don't get along, actually. They fight.
I can believe it.
They're never on the same wavelength.
No. Yeah, they say Vaudeville's dead. It's alive and well.
Yeah.
On Fanboys.
Nice.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. This makes birthday week you've kicked it off with a bang. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all for being a wonderful community. Make sure to sub everyone up. If for some odd reason you're not subscribed to Roger, the link is in the description for this video. Yeah, and what's wrong with you? Leave us a comment. We really want to know. And
too much.
And the info. The links for everyone else, even some of the fanboys like Fu is a Furry who didn't show up tonight, his link is in there, and even though he doesn't have any content on there right now, you can still subscribe up. Just take care of it. But thank you so much for watching the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. We will see you next week. Until then, take care. Have a happy, healthy, and safe week. Bye.